Welcome to our March Animal Services Board meeting. Appreciate that you're here. We have a sort of a full chamber today. Thank you for being here. Why don't we stand and say the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'm Cassandra Gandara, Vice Chair for the Animal Services Board. Our chair is not here today. I think it's still spring break, and maybe there are folks away with kids and vacationing. And so I call this meeting to order. Becky, can you determine if we have a quorum, please?
Board Member De Leon.
Here.
Board Member Ward.
Present.
Board Member Flores is absent. Board Member Weir. Here. Board Member Karan.
Here.
Board Member Shayla Hernandez.
Here.
And Vice Chair Gandara, who is chair today.
Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is there's some changes to the agenda. First, before I motion to make those changes, do we have anybody from CIPP? We do.
We have 4 HOTS. Clint Thacker, Executive Director. Yes, Madam Vice Chair, we do. We have 4 Hearts, 4 Paws here to talk about their animal rescue efforts.
Okay, very good. Let me make note of that. And what we'll need is a motion to change the agenda and remove action item B altogether. It'll need to be tabled. Becky, do I do that now? Okay, so can I get a motion with an amendment to remove action item B, resolution 2023-02?
So moved, Corin.
Okay.
Second, Shelter Hernandez.
Okay, thank you. Motion made by Board Member Karan, second by Sergio Hernandez. Becky, please call the roll.
Board Member Weir.
Present.
I need a yes or no, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Sorry. Board Member Karan.
Yes.
Board Member Shayla Hernandez.
Yes.
Board Member Gandara.
Yes.
Thank you. Passes.
Okay, now I need a motion for the entire agenda with amended note, with the noted amendment.
I move to approve the agenda with the amendment that we just approved.
Thank you.
I second.
Okay. Becky?
Board Member Weir.
Yes.
Board Member Karan.
Yes.
Board Member Shayla Hernandez.
Yes.
Chair Gandara.
Yes. Okay. So next is I need a motion to approve the minutes for the regular ASCMV board meeting held January 26, 2023.
So moved.
Motion made by Board Member Hernandez.
So moved. Seconded by Corin.
Second by Corin.
Board Member Weir.
Yes.
Board Member Karan.
Yes.
Board Member Shayla Hernandez.
Yes.
Chair Gandara.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving right along, we're in the section of reports and presentations and the recognition of vaccination clinic participants. Clint, thank you for doing this. I know it was such a huge success. I felt it necessary to bring your people and all the folks that are behind the scenes trying to make this happen. And I so appreciate it. So thank you for being here.
Not a problem. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So starting in 2019, this was pre-COVID, we came up with this schemed idea to do drive-through vaccine clinics. I had seen it done once before while I was on a business trip in Louisiana. And I thought, this could work at other places. So when I came here, we devised this plan. And it taken off. In our first spot, we totally ran out of vaccines. We caused an accident because the line was backed up onto the main road. It was quite a trip. And then we had to move venues to be bigger. I mean, we grew each time. And so With the conclusion of the February 19th drive-through clinic, we have done a total of over 4,000 rabies vaccines. We've done 3,397 DHPP vaccines, which is the dog distemper, hepatitis, parvo vaccines. Microchips, we've implanted over 2,000. Feline vaccines was 491, and Bordetella, 1,627. The big ones I want to point out are those first two, the rabies and the DHPP. We have so much sickness, diseases coming into the center every day from individual areas, and this continues to grow. The first time we had it, we had 0 volunteers. It was all staff, and this time, in last February, we had more volunteers than we know what to do with. It was amazing. And it keeps getting bigger and better. So I would like to invite, if we could, have a picture taken with the board and also all of the employees that were able to come today from the ASCMV. Come up and get a picture with you, and then you could officially recognize them for their efforts that they've done.
Clint, do you have names of each of them that you can?
They don't go by names, no. Yes.
That would be really nice to go by their name and get the
Okay.
recognition, especially because it's live on CLC TV. I can't express how grateful I am to each and every one of you that puts forth that kind of effort. I know what it takes to make that kind of event successful, and I want you to know how grateful I am and the board is for everything that you do. So, Clint, take it away.
Okay, great. Would you like to come up, and I'll introduce you as you come up? So first we have Curtis Herring. He's coming up. We have Christine Curtis is our assistant kennel manager. And then we have Christine, front office. We have Jeanette, the front office. This is really testing my skills here. We have our front office manager is Michelle. Our incredible veterinarian medical director is Dr. Haddon. We have Gay, who is our front office. We have Vanessa, who's going to have a baby in April, but she's also our foster coordinator. We have Amy, who does amazing work there as our rescue coordinator. Kim works in our front office area. We have Danielle as our front office, and we have Bernice, who's our operations manager. One person that is not here that is really the driving force behind it, but she won't admit it, is Elizabeth Seeley. She's our other rescue coordinator. She does all of the scheduling for the Field of Dreams. And by the way, Field of Dreams, if you know how big Field of Dreams is, we cover both parking lots. It's ginormous. It's a huge effort there that we take on. Another person that does a lot of work there is our supervisor, our building maintenance supervisor is Paul Reeves. He delivers all the heavy stuff and the barrels of water and the cones and all that. So we also want to give a thank you to Carol Petrie Foundation. They gave us a grant a couple years ago that we could purchase all of the things that really make this work, awnings and cones, and we even got a trailer. We were able to put it all in. So we just hook up the trailer and go. So we appreciate all their work. There are, as you see from the picture that's on the board, there are many there that were not able to come, specifically our kennel crew, because they wanted to stay and take care of the animals there at the center. But a special thank you to everybody there. Appreciate it. And I also want to point out Yoli Hirado. She is our volunteer coordinator, and she does amazing work getting these people from everywhere. So she even thought about doing Burrell College because they have experience with vaccinations. So it's just a different kind of patient is all it is. And they're also required to do volunteer hours. So it works out really well.
I love it. Thank you so much. What a beautiful group. Okay, we're going to go down.
Wherever they want us. Yeah, let's come up in the front. Tom, would you be willing to take a picture?
Or if someone else can take a picture, that's great.
I would love to take a picture, but they said I have to be in it.
It's your standard.
Sure.
Squeeze in a little bit. Can you come over here? Right here? There we go. All right. Oop, got some sanitizer in the way. Okay. On three. 1, 2, 3. One more for good luck. 1, 2, 3. Good.
If I remember right, I think the board, you guys said you wanted to buy us donuts or something. Is that what I heard? Okay.
Sure. Thanks for that.
That's all I have.
Anybody have anything to add to that? Okay, seeing none. Okay, who's here for the Four Hearts for Paws presentation? Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
Please state your name for the record.
It's Susan Peterson, and it's actually Two Hearts for Paws.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
There you
no,
go.
it's all right.
Two
We-
Hearts for Paws.
Refuge.
Yes.
And we get called, Four Hearts, Two Paws, Hearts and Paws. I mean, we get called everything, so it's okay. Sometimes we just get a picture of a heart, a two and a heart, and a four and a
That's
dog
cute.
paw.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
for the veterinarians, it's easier for them. So, yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to talk a little bit, for those of you who might be new. We're a small 501c rescue up in Radium Springs, and it's my sister Deborah and I. Somehow we do it. We've got about 5 acres, we have yards, we have indoor, outdoor kennels. And so most of our work has been in the community, strays, issues with dogs. Dogs have been run over, hit by a car, and no one claimed them. And so we did all the vet work and saved them. So that's why we're a refuge. We have a lot on site. But last year, I think it was last year, I have no concept of time, but I think it was last year I was here and I had said how we wanted to try to help the shelter with taking out dogs and transport. And so I'm thrilled to say that we're finally able to do that. So it's slow, but we have a network of people now. So and I call the shelter, pull an animal or 2 or 3, and then they go to foster care and transport it out to other rescues all around the country. We've taken animals to Maryland, Illinois, Missouri, Colorado, Wyoming. They don't have the animal population we do. And so to get them out of the shelter and moved is wonderful. And I have to say that the foster coordinators, Amy and Liz, have been a joy to work with. They are so accommodating. They help so much. They're wonderful to work with. So I just wanted to give kudos to them. And everyone else that I talk to when I call in, they've always been nice and polite and helpful. So it's wonderful. It just makes it easier. I'm not a statistical person, so I don't have a lot of numbers for you, but I know we've pulled mostly little dogs, but like 12 to 15 since we started in the first of the year. It's not many, but it's something, and we'd like to try to pull the larger dogs when we have a network for them. But as long as we can help, because it's so overcrowded and educating the people is so hard, but we don't give up. And we help our community as whenever we can with vet bills and spay and neuter shots. You know, we just try to help everybody. So, so that's our job. That's what we do. And I'd also like to say that I'm picking up a dog today that's going to be transported to another rescue. And I don't know if you keep up with the horrors that happen, but some poor excuse for a human being dropped off the mom and dad and 10 puppies at a local rest area. Well, we've been so distraught, so I'm picking them up tomorrow, and they'll come out to my place. I have a big several fenced-in yards with kennels, and so they'll have a place to stay, and then we'll move them on to, I believe, Big Mutt's, another rescue. So we try to do whatever we can to help. So, and I also wanted to say that since some of animal control is here, I hear a lot of people complain that they call and no one ever comes, but every time I've ever called, they come. So I don't know what's going on with other people, but I have to say how grateful I am that when I have a dog that's been run over, or there's a deceased dog, or there's issues with neighbors and things, that they always come out. And it's not always able to be resolved, but they come. So I just wanted to express my gratefulness to how everybody helps us. And I know other rescues are pulling from the shelter too, so that's a big plus. So that's what we want to do, is try to work together and save these animals. So if there's any questions.
Any questions? Yes.
I just want to say thank you for coming out here again and following up on what we talked about last year, but thank you and your sister so much for what you do. I know that it's a lot in your world, and also you talked right now about some of the parts of it that are not part of the dream life, but at some level I feel like you're living the dream life, at least, that you get to be helping animals, and that's your life experience. So I'm so grateful that you've chosen that path and help support our community. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's a joy. It's a labor of love. It is. So.
Thank you, Board Member Karen. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Seeing none, we really appreciate you being here and giving us an update, and continued luck and gratitude from us to you and your sister.
Well, thank you. We both thank you, and we thank everyone here that we can work with. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, next up is the city and county ACO reports. And do you draw straws and you got the shorter or longer? I don't know. Okay.
I was kind of thrown under the bus, but
Oh.
maybe there it goes. Good morning, Madam Vice Chair and Board. My name is Brian Holsey. I'm the caseworker for Donana County Animal Control. Here to present the February 2023 animal report. For February, we had 257 reported stray animals. Out of the reported stray animals, we were able to pick up 186 stray animals. 76 of those were cats and 110 were dogs. We ended up picking up 5 sick or injured animals, 4 cats and 1 dog. And for the first time since I think I've had this position, we only had 2 owners surrender animals, and it was 2 dogs. Usually we're in double digits, so I was very shocked to see that we only had 2. I even triple checked it just to make sure. This is our reported stray animal calls for the last 4 years. Since we're starting a new year, it's going to be pretty blank for this year until we start getting higher up in the months. This is our 4-year field return to owner comparison chart. So for those of you that are new, when our officers are out in the field and they're able to identify an owner to a dog and they're able to give the dog back, they do it out in the field. That's what this is for. So for February, we had 34 return to owners, so that way they didn't end up going to the Animal Service Center in Mesilla Valley. For additional animals that we picked up, we had no owner-surrendered cats. We had 2 owner-surrendered dogs, the 5 sick or injured animals. We had 3 welfare holds. Welfare holds are if a sheriff unit or state police or border patrol, they end up arresting someone and they have animals, we come and pick them up and do a welfare hold of those animals. We had no neglect or cruelty. We had 10 shelter quarantines. We had 5 home quarantines. We had 2 dogs for the court hold for cases that involved livestock attacks. We currently, at the time of the slide, we had 5 live evidence animals being held at our facility, but now we have 4 as of today. We had 1 rabies submission, and the new slide that we have is diverted intakes. So we started keeping statistics on how often our officers are able to divert animals from going to the shelter or from us having to pick them up, giving them options for rescues, things like that. And so we had 50 diverted intakes this month, or for February. These are our districts. I'll keep that up there for everyone to see for a moment. And these are stray animals picked up by district. District 1, we had a total of 9 animals. District 2, we had 24. District 3, we had 53. We saw a big uptake in dogs for some reason in District 3 for February. We had a lot of dog activity in District 3. In District 4, we had 34. In District 5, we had 32. District 6, we had 11. And District 7, we had 23. These are our stray cats picked up for our year-to-date for 2023. And again, these are the ones for the dogs. As you can see that big spike for District 3 that went up for the dogs. And then these are 2 animals for owner surrenders. We had 1, the owner just wasn't able to take care of the animal. It kept escaping the yard, it kept having issues, so the owner surrendered the animal. And then we had 1 for a livestock attack. And at that, I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you. Any questions? Yes. Board Member Mary Lou.
It's not a question, it's more of a statement, I guess. Just on the, Brian, can you go back to the field RTOs slide? Just looking at the field RTOs, so we had 34 in February, and if you can look in 2020, we had 62. So we've been short on officers. So of course our numbers are going to be lower, and the more officers we have in the field, we anticipate more animals we can be releasing back to the owners safely. So we're hoping those numbers will go up as we can get more officers out in the field.
Thank you, Board Member Ward. Anybody else? Seeing none. Thank you so much for your presentation.
I'll get you going.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm Officer Torres with the City of Las Cruces Animal Control. I am filling in for Supervisor Jimenez and Lieutenant Weedle. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it today. Let's see. Where's mine? Is this one it? To the side? Yep. Okay. And I'll go ahead and begin. I will be presenting the numbers for February. So these are the reported stray animals. 476 reported stray animals for February. 215 were gone upon arrival. 261 stray animals were apprehended. 222 stray impounded at the shelter. 108 of those were dogs, 114 cats. 39 were successful field returns. 10 unsuccessful attempted field returns due to, later on we'll figure out why that happened. A total of 49 identifiable stray animals. And this is the reported stray animal calls 3-year comparison. For 2023, so far we are at 886 reported strays. Seems to be kind of across the board for this time of year. And then the 3-year field RTO comparison. February we were at 39 field RTOs compared to 51 last year, and the previous year 31. Community cat program, for 2023 we've got 107 calls for cat and traps. We released 12 of those. They had either the microchip, ear tip, released those right in the field. Cats and trap calls, sometimes that's just requesting a trap to be delivered, but we've got 55 of those. And then community cats were released 3 for 2022. Reasons for owner releasing animals, we had 12. One was mom dog with a litter of 6 plus another litter of 5. 7 dogs due to aggression. 5 of those landlords would not allow them to keep those dogs on the premises. 3 dogs they were unable to care for them. 1 decided to surrender because of a bite. 1 sick or old, 1 strong, too strong for the elderly owner, and then 1 injured cat. Reasons for unable to field RTO, 7 of those chips were not updated, and 3 no contact by phone or residents. Sometimes they won't answer those unidentified calls, restricted numbers, whatnot, or knocks at the doors, no success getting a hold of any owner. And I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you, Officer Torres. Yes, Board Member Kren.
Thank you for your presentation. Can you go back to the community cat one real quick, please? And I'm just curious, you mentioned, actually I didn't know that the calls includes all the people asking for a trap, right?
We're trying to separate everything through central dispatch to specifically say for the ones, but we still get some of those mixed in there. But they should be under cat and trap specifically. But some of those we do get calls that they're requesting a trap, which they can pick up from the office on Thursdays.
And can you just tell me what happens if the cat isn't released, so the others that were there were taken to the shelter because they were not ear tipped and they didn't know what group they were from, but in the future, ideally those would be ear tipped and returned, right?
Ideally.
That's the ideal
Yes,
situation.
and that's what we push out there is, I explain to them when I'm picking up a cat, I let them know what the possibilities, that they might see that same cat back with that ear tip, and knowing that it's microchipped, vaccinated, and spayed or neutered.
And how do people receive that?
I get a mix of responses. Like I tell them, they serve a purpose, and I will say to a certain extent, but that's the point of TNR. I tell them, to keep those numbers start to go down, and eventually they'll see that if everybody just start to trap them. I encourage them to have neighbors go pick up a trap too, because usually I hear all of us are upset about it. And I was like, well, multiple traps can be lent out to multiple people.
Okay, thank you.
No
I
problem.
appreciate that.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, Officer Torres, for being here. You did wonderfully.
Thank you, I appreciate
And I
it.
appreciate it.
I will be stepping out. I don't mean to be rude and leave, but I do have to get on calls.
Of course.
You all have a very good day.
You too. Bye-bye. Okay, next up is Clint with shelter statistics. I was having a tongue-tied moment there. And activities.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Clint Thacker, Executive Director of the Animal Service Center in Mesilla Valley. Here to talk to you today about February numbers. Current animal count in the center, this is as of Thursday, I'm sorry, that's today, as of Wednesday, is 419. Our February intake continues to climb. This is very similar to pre-COVID numbers, so I believe that we're right back where we were. 727 was our intake. As you see, it's 489 dogs and 231 cats and 7 others. And this is where they're coming from. As you can see, 59% was ACOs, 19.5% by strays in the public, and then 12% by owner surrenders. The owner surrenders, as always, you're going to see in a later slide, we do talk to them, provide information, try to divert that intake as much as possible, and same with the strays as well. With the strays, we give them recommendations, strays by the public. And so they come in and say, I found this animal. We give them recommendations what they can do, go for a walk, knock on doors for that, and just for the ones that are willing to. If they're not willing to, then we take the animal. Our returns, we had 11 dogs and 2 cats that were returned. And you can see the reasons there: health issues, behavior problems, lifestyle change. And again, we always try to mitigate this by offering Doña Ana County Humane Society has a great program where they allow us to recommend some type of animal training with them. And if they don't want to, then of course we take it back. This is the slide I was speaking of. This is our diverted intakes. Our front staff, most of whom you saw today that were here, does an excellent job in talking to individuals about the animal that they're returning and some things they can do to help with those problems. So it's dogs go in the bathroom in the house. Well, have you tried this and this and this and this? And they said, no, I'll give it a try. So that counts as a diverted intake. Or I found this dog. Have you tried walking around the neighborhood, knocking on doors? No. Are you willing to? Yes. Okay, so that's a diverted intake. So 261 were diverted. And this is how the animals left the center. So we had 17% leave via adoptions, 13% reclaims, 27 rescues, community cats 17, and we had a 25% euthanasia rate. So a live release rate is the percentage of the animals that left alive was 74.7%. There's another way our animals leave the center. As you just saw, 197 came or left out of transfers or to rescue groups. Again, 2 Hearts, 2 Paws Refuge, 2 Hearts, 4 Paws, say that correctly, 12 dogs is what they took, so I appreciate them and their efforts in February. Action Program for Animals, again, taking 10 there. They're great for cats. Halo Animal Rescue has always been a great help for us. They're established in Phoenix, but 45 dogs and 16 cats. We'll be doing another transfer next week for those, for them as well. We also have a resolution on the agenda to talk about them. And you see some others there that just do amazing work and help for us. This is our euthanasia reasons. The number 1 reason for dogs right now, it comes out as respiratory signs, non-treatment. In other words, they're not treated, which means they were not given a treatment of antibiotics because clinical signs were so far along that it was recommended euthanasia via the medical director. We also have an behavior-aggressive dog is right up there with it. These are animals that cannot be housed with another dog. And unfortunately, with our numbers that we have, that they just have to be, we can't have a single dog in a cage. So there's that reason. And then also space medical. Those are dogs that would otherwise, they were euthanized because we needed the space, but they would otherwise be seen for medical reasons. But because of our space issue, we had to lower our numbers and euthanize them. Number 1 for cats is space behavior. We had a large influx of cats come in via traps. We're only able to do so much. We don't like to, and with our limited veterinarian capabilities, we cannot do sterilizations every single day. So cats can only be in a trap for so long. So if it's longer than 3 days, or I'm sorry, we like to keep it under 2 days. But if it goes to the 3-day, then we have to start thinking about euthanasia for these cats. And they're all feral cats. Also, another reason is if they're within the miles in the county of the river, then the only option right now for those is euthanasia. And just reviewing the numbers really quick. So yeah, that's the top one. Year-to-date surgeries, they've done 655, 296 was done in February. So as you see, trap, neuter, return, the community cats is the #1 reason for surgeries. If you look at other, that is any surgery that needs to happen, an ablation, amputation, follow-up surgery, any of those needs to be done. But adoption could be a rabbit, it could be a dog or a cat, any animal is up for adoption. Our volunteers right now, total hours we had in February was 843, which is phenomenal. That counts our vaccine clinic is one reason why it's so high. Our volunteer coordinator does an excellent job in engaging all aspects. We have kids that are 16 all the way to senior citizens that just knit blankets and tie blankets for us, for the cats. So she does an excellent job engaging all aspects for that. Our visitors for February dipped just a little bit, but nothing that we are concerned or worried about. It's still there at the 1,479 individuals, and that's total. So if somebody had 3 people in their group, they would write down 3. Let me put that on there. Our website page views is right in with that median, in fact, a little bit high. So we're excited about that. We push a lot of people to our webpage, view the animals that we have, both as stray and also available for adoption. So that's really starting to show that people are going there. And then the Facebook views, again, are clear up there. We really love the jump that we've seen because of our mass media uptakes, our really popular things that happen on Facebook, and those people are continuing to be there and to view our page. And that's really exciting that they're there. That means that there's more people being active on social media on behalf of the ASCMV. They're sharing more things. It's getting out to more people. Some of the things that we have coming up in March, I hope this number is up there as well, because we've had some issues, well, not issues, but some high-profile animals come in that have really caused some stir. So I hope to see that number is up there as well. And then we have some upcoming events. Icebox Brewery concert on April 15th will be a lot of fun. The Peach Readoption event on April 8th. And then our Animal Care and Control Appreciation Week is April 12th through the 18th. And our volunteer coordinator is working really hard to get something on each day of those to really focus on our appreciation for our fellow coworkers, both in the center and out of the center for our ACOs. So that's my presentation. Any questions?
Thank you, Clint. Any questions for Clint? Clint, I'm seeing none, but I do want you to talk about the presentations you're doing specifically on Zoom to City Council.
Okay, great. Yeah, so we were asked by Councilor Gondeta to develop a presentation that presents not only the pet of the week, but like an information and it's really short, maybe 2 minutes is all they're doing. And I've tasked our rescue coordinator, Amy, she was doing the pet of the week anyways, and we recognized her yesterday in our staff meeting for this above and beyond job. And so we appreciate all that she's doing. But this month has been spay and neuter. So last time she talked about the advantages of spay and neuter and the health benefits that come from it. I know she has the next one coming up. She's going to talk about the number of animals that a cat can, or the number of offspring a cat can have just within 1 year. She's also going to talk about cost, those types of things that really show what we need to do to help to get down our spay and neuter numbers. So those presentations, I feel, are both informative for the council and also for the individuals that are watching as well. Hopefully they're like, maybe I should get my animals sterilized. And that's what we've been saying all along. So thank you for that great thought for having us do it.
Thank you. I just know that Mayor and others have commented to me about the information, and some of the information has been like, wow, I wasn't aware. This Monday was, I thought, really good information about, spay and neuter and how it helps, the reduction of disease, just lots of different things. Lifespan, it increases lifespan for the animals, and it was a really great presentation, and I just want you to know that Amy's a gem. Thank you.
Yes, she is. I'll pass it on. Thank you.
Please do. Thank you. Okay, next up is our finance, our committee reports, and first up is finance. Barbara De Leon.
Thank you so much. So we will be having our quarterly finance report next month, as we determined at the last board meeting to adopt a new interval for reports to the board. Instead of monthly, finance will be coming on a quarterly basis. So we'll see Josh Saffel next month. But in the meantime, finance is distributing the monthly report to the finance committee, and this month the budget parameter was just under 67% of revenues and expenditures that we would expect to be seeing at this time, 8 months into the fiscal year. Both the revenue and expenditures were under that parameter. Revenue was just a hair under it. Expenditures are standing at, I believe, 59%, 60% of the budget. And then just one final note that the current unassigned fund balance for the Animal Service Center is $440,000. So you will receive a full report next month, but at this point, after reviewing the information, there are no concerns on my part. I didn't see any comments from Animal Service Center staff either. But those, just so you know, the reports will be still distributed monthly, but we'll be bringing them to you as the board on a quarterly basis. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara, for that. Any questions? Any from the audience? Okay, and next is the executive committee report. And since Chair Sanchez isn't here, I will give that report. And basically, we spent our time speaking to the preparation of the budget work sessions. We've had a couple of those since then. Clint proposed a budget, and with some of the changes that we asked, it changed the numbers some. And so we've asked for Clint and staff to go back and look at those numbers and speak to both city staff and county staff, and I think those have happened. We spoke about the facility, the new facility, the population there. We spoke about vacancies and how we manage those vacancies. Specifically, do we, at the end of one's employment, are we giving sort of evaluations, and Clint does that and is able to garner many times why one is leaving, and mostly the resignations have been because people have gotten better jobs, I think, and also a move, if you will. But I think this is something that's really important to Clint, is really harnessing those evaluations to be able to recruit and retain folks and long-term at the center. We talked about our retreat, and I know we owe Clint an evaluation, so we need for Manny and I and Chair Curran to come together and get that accomplished, and we will do so. And the JPA is in the process. It's being looked at, reviewed, and we're hoping that that will come to us quickly. As folks recall, we have a JPA between city and county for the Animal Services Center, and it hasn't been updated for several years. So we are wanting that update, and I see Barbara's, Ms. De Leon's light. So Ms. De Leon.
Thank you so much. Yes, so we did have the opportunity to meet to discuss the current JPA last week, I think it was. And one of the things that we decided is to structure the agreement in such a way that we can have the JPA is separate from the schedule of services, if you will, that will be provided by the fiscal agent. And that way, those services provided by the fiscal agent can be updated more easily through an MOU between the Animal Services Center and the city. So one of the things, this follows the template for other JPAs. For example, we just adopted the MOU for South Central Solid Waste Authority in September. So we're going to be looking through the JPA to extract the portion of that document that pertains to the fiscal agent services into a separate MOU, and that's one of the things that I'm helping with right now. So just an update on that.
Good, thank you. Thank you, Ms. De Leon, for that. And then lastly, we spoke of when we did all the improvements to the old facility, there was a mural, and we spoke of just because it came very interesting to me, the artist called me in relation to an issue that occurred with her and a roaming dog, and she made mention of the art that she had put together years ago, and I started thinking, wow, did we do anything to honor her and the mural that was placed there? Did we have any dialogue with her about what to do next? And we hadn't. And so Clint has been working on that, and you will see later on the agenda what we'll be doing to honor that muralist and the artist, if you will, and just memorializing the work that she did all those years back. And so with that, I will turn it back over. Oh no, it's facilities, so you get to hear me again. Again, we talk about the population and issues surrounding the old facility, different things that the city and Animal Services Center are working on. There's been some concern about that area, and I'll move into, we also talk about the new facility as well, and sort of the list of things that should be completed and whatnot. And there's an area there. Clint, am I seeing folks from that could speak to the new facility? That was what we thought we would do, is to update the board on the new facility and the challenge there with funding to update that area that is of concern.
Yes, thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Clint Thacker, Executive Director. Yes, I have Tom Gallagher here from the City of Las Cruces. He's the project manager over the new center, and he'll just speak to us about the updates, or updating us on the new center, where we're at with it, some delays we're having, why those delays, and so on.
Thank you, Clint. Good morning, Mr. Gallagher. We are happy that you're here to give us an update. We are anticipating, anxiously awaiting this new facility. So you are on. Hello.
Good morning.
Yes, please state your name for the record.
My name is Tom Gallagher. I'm project manager with Public Works. Didn't have a presentation set up, but I know you want to know where we're at, and we are really, really close to finishing this project. The biggest issue holding us up right now and keeping the facility from opening is the kennel cages that get installed inside the facility and the cages, fences inside the dog kennels. And the issues behind that were started way back in early 2022, we were trying to value engineer the project, get the best price, and we had a lot of back and forth with the submittals, and had to get additional pricing, which takes a lot of time. So the additional pricing we got in was much higher than what we received from the original price. So we ended up sticking with the original contractor or manufacturer, and we finally got approved submittals back in December of 2022. The manufacturer required us to provide a 50% down payment, which they received in early January 2023. And we've been pressuring the contractor to provide a ship date from the manufacturer, and we had been unable to attain that until last week. They finally gave us a date, a firm date, and that is May 5th. So that's
Yay.
we're still trying to push them
Yeah.
to do better, but that's what they've given us at this point. So what's involved in that is they'll have to ship, and then we'll have to install the equipment, and I imagine that'll take a few weeks to complete.
Okay. Now, I understand there is an area that has been value engineered out that has to do with, help me, Clint, the ponding area? No, the area where the get acquainted
the get acquainted area.
Yes, please speak
and,
to us about that, because we're really concerned about that area
enrichment.
not having the right proper material to clean off regularly and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. So the facility requested to have concrete pads installed, and they would require some sort of they want to prevent the disease from spreading.
Yes.
So there needs to be a coating over the concrete that essentially doesn't allow the concrete to absorb the disease. So we've had some issues with that. We really the main issue with that is the cost was still too high, and we've run incredibly low on our remaining funds for the project. So at this point, we don't have enough to do that work, and unfortunately, that work is preventing us from finishing the other remaining portions of the back area, the enrichment area, and the get acquainted areas. Because we've been holding off on that because they have to bring in cement trucks, and that's going to be the easiest and cheapest way to get concrete in that back area.
Mm-hmm. What is the estimated cost? What do you have specifically for that project, and what is the remainder, right? The total amount that it would require to complete that
Right.
piece.
So we received a price. It was over $300,000. And what we have remaining for the project is around $80,000.
Okay. Is there any other options that we could look at that would help? Any other options that it's cheaper, but that would help us sort of move this project along, this piece of it along? I don't know what that would be. You're an engineer. I'm not. So, yeah.
I'm not actually an engineer.
Oh, okay. Whatever. Project manager. I'm
Yes.
sorry. Project manager. Okay.
Yeah, we've been looking at other solutions, but it seems like nothing's really going to work for completing it other than what they actually need installed at the site.
Okay.
So it involves some specific drainage, and it's just a costly item that we couldn't foresee way back when.
Well, the extreme costs of everything that we've had to sort of overcome over the few years, I think, is what I'm hearing
Sure.
happening. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Gallagher, for being here. Appreciate
Absolutely.
your input. Is there, yes, Board Member Ward, Board Member Cran.
I just have a quick question. In regards to the concrete pads and the cost for disease control, since that's so expensive, can you lay the concrete pads first and then later on come and treat that concrete for the disease control? Is that something that can be done at a later date since it's so expensive?
It really all needs to be done at once. They can't really separate the portions of the work.
So they can't lay it on top later on?
It's complicated because there needs to be the drainage portion, which is a huge amount of the cost. And the pads need to be laid down, and the coating is not the largest portion of the cost of that work.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Ward. Board Member Cran.
I just had a separate question, and I think that this is not your project, but just to follow up, we had sort of conflated the dog park and the ASCMV together because they were both part of the GeoBond process, and you're not with the dog park, yes?
I am.
You are?
Yes.
And I understand that the electrical is the last thing outstanding, so I've actually asked for us to separate the two and have like a grand opening for the dog park so we can open that sooner, so we're not waiting on things that are really held up with the ASCMV, and the dog park can actually get moving because it is much closer, right? I think.
It is very close. We finished out some remaining items that needed to be done before we wanted to open, mainly the fencing and gates that were installed, and separation between the large and the smaller dog. We were worried about maybe little dogs getting into the large area. Also, there was a fence on the Rinconada Road side that we were worried about dogs slipping underneath the fencing. So we were getting the contractor out there. We had to set some concrete underneath the gate, and we've actually added some additional wire mesh to block from prevent the smaller dogs from escaping. But at this point, I think that was the main thing that we were worried about and that was holding us up. So at this point, I think we are able to actually open the park. We do have a date finally from El Paso Electric to come and perform their work. That's end of end of April. So things are finally happening with this to help us finish it.
So, but it still won't be till past April, it sounds like.
For the electrical?
Yeah.
Their work is minimal. They should be done in a day, honestly. And then our electrical contractor will come in and make the final connection, probably another day, and it should be done.
Okay, so thank you, but I do hope that we can move as quickly as possible in terms of opening the dog park. So thank you for
Absolutely.
working on that. I appreciate it.
I agree, Board Member Clint. Clint, do you have something to say about that specifically? Okay.
Yes, I do. Clint Thacker, Executive Director. So two things. One, I want to back up Tom on the electrical with El Paso Electric. That has you're at their mercy for connecting, and we had to wait for the connection for the ASCMV building. It was a major delay for that as well. So it's that they are an issue and hard to work with for that. The other one I wanted to bring to the board's attention is just a reminder that the ASCMV really has nothing to do with that dog park. We get asked quite a bit of when it's opening, who's going to be in charge of it, and the city is in charge of it, and it just grouped together on the Go Bond question. I had one person comment that because the ASCMV is not completed, then the dog park won't be completed or won't be opened until it's done. And I said, for that, I'm not 100% certain. I just know that they're not done yet with the dog park. So we get asked and we tell them that we just try to educate people that we don't have anything to do with it, but it's hard because it's right next to us.
Yeah, and actually the person who brought this up to me about the dog park is my person on the Parks and Rec board, which is where they were having this conversation, and works for EPE. So I'll follow up with him and see if we can pull any strings, because that would be helpful. So, but yes, that's partly my ask of the question, is so that we can make sure that you guys aren't tied to that and getting flack for the dog park not being open. So thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Cran. And maybe this is a piece that could be done on Monday, Clint, in the reporting that you're doing, not only on the Pet of the Week, but a snippet of kind of updating folks, so you get quite a few people that watch the meetings. So that might be a way to get that information out. And it's being said where staff is here and listening in, and I think could give us some updates on that. Ms. De Leon?
Thank you so much. I just wanted to make a comment regarding the information that went out on the cement costs for the getting acquainted areas. And I did see an email come through from Board Member Macias asking if the amount could be covered. He termed it from the surplus, but I'm assuming that that's from the fund balance that is available for the Animal Service Center. And so I didn't know if that was part of the discussion that we were going to have here today or not, but I just wanted to bring that forward.
Thank you for the reminder. Yes, I remember the email, and I was going to ask Clint if there is budget from vacancy savings, or since we're getting closer to the end of the year, what would that look like, Clint, and how can we accomplish that?
The Executive Director, Clint Thacker, I did receive that email. I was hesitant to answer yes or no, because the board's been presented with the request to have 1/12 budget or fund balance. And if I received some guidance from the board of whether we want to do the 1/12 or not, if we don't, then yeah, with the financial presentation today, we have that 400,000, a little bit plus, that we could move forward with. But I didn't want to do anything against the board, what the board wanted to do with those funds of the 1/12. So.
Okay, maybe what I would recommend that we do is we bring it forward to have the conversation next month, Clint. I think you're proposing a work session to go over the budget issues, right? And have answers to the board members' questions from this last work session related to the budget. And maybe this is something that is also an item that we have the discussion on, because it has to do with the budget. and then we can give you some guidance, and hopefully by the end of April when we meet, it will be a resolution. Okay. Whatever way that's going to look like, okay? All right. Is that okay with everybody? Board Member Sergio Hernandez, did you have something? No, ma'am. Okay. All right. Now, next up is the discussion items portion of the agenda, and we are at A, MOU between Halo Animal Rescue and the ASCMV. Clint?
Thank you. Clint Thacker, Executive Director. Again, this is it's a simple MOU. I had our attorney for the ASCMV, had him look at it, and he approved it. It's basically saying that Halo is going to pay us for some of the fees, or I'm sorry, for the animals that are being taken. They're in agreement with it. The board gave me some authorization to sign it, so this is more or less of a information that we're moving forward on this memo of understanding with Halo, with the blessing of our attorney as well.
Yes, any questions, feedback? Seeing none, any in the audience? Okay, seeing none, Clint? Next, old ASCMV building mural recognition.
Thank you. So under the direction of the Vice Chair, I did reach out to our media / advertising company, Wilson Binkley. They've been great to work with. This is the mural, if you remember, on the old center that was up above the entrance to the adoption side along the top of the building. We were able to get a vector image. We sent it off to Wilson Binkley. They worked on this. This is going to be an acrylic. So it's clear. All of the checkerboard that you see, it will not be there. And we've reached out on Monday to the mural artist, and she has not responded yet that we know of, but so we asked if there's any backstory, any inspiration on this, so we can possibly put that on, and then also it will have her name on it, and it'll be in the new lobby, kind of as a from here or from then to now kind of presentation with it. The plaque is 24 by 6, so 24 inches by 6 inches, and it stands off the wall about an inch. So we did something very similar with our old logo that we had, that when we switched to our new logo, same acrylic, and it stands off the wall, and it's actually in our lobby for the existing center, and it looks really good. So this was the idea from our marketing department.
Any feedback, questions, concerns? Clint, thank you. This was really important to me. Like I said, it was an unusual way that it got to me, but I think art in all its forms is a very important priority for council, as it is for commission, I believe, and to honor folks, especially someone who took the time and energy, right? Can you please remind me of her name, and so we can say that publicly? Yeah, you're smiling because...
I'll have to look it up really quick, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but thanks for all the energy and time that it has taken, and for being so open, both Clint and Bernice. Thank you for doing this. This will be a highlight, and I love the idea of a kind of a time. This was then and now, especially for our new facility. And we'll do a big ribbon cutting and really honor her and the work and the plaque as it stands now. We'll do a big deal because it is a big deal. So.
It's Tracy Jameson.
Tracy Jameson.
The original artist for the mural.
She's a lovely woman, very easy to speak with, and just has such passion for animals as well. And you see it here on this plaque, or soon-to-be plaque. So appreciate that, Clint. Okay. Next up is our action items, and I will need a motion for Resolution 2023-01, accept the 2400 HSUS Animal Care Expo Scholarship Grant.
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion made by Board Member Cran, second by Sergio Hernandez. And Clint?
Like, where you going?
And I thought it was just going to go right through, no problems. So before you is Resolution 2023-01. This is a resolution for a grant we received from the Humane Society of the United States for some of our employees to attend the Animal Care Expo's convention that they do. We have 2 individuals that are going by, they're going to attend, they're going to fly there. And then we have 2 individuals who, one was approved to go by their supervisor but will not fly. And driving was a little bit, a lot more money that was not going to be covered. But Humane Society of the United States has a mobile or a Zoom option to attend. So we're going to be paying for her to do that. And since we found out that we're going to have another person attend via that Zoom option as well. So we're excited. Humane Society of the United States is a huge, big player in the animal industry. They cover best ethics and efforts that are currently in the industry, and we're excited that they recognize, we had to apply for this, and again, this is something that our grant coordinator got us, and we're excited that we were chosen out of many hundreds of others that applied for it.
Great, thank you, Clint. Any questions, concerns? Any from the audience? Seeing none? Bernice, excuse me.
That's okay. We're all good. Board Member Weir? Yes. Board Member Coran?
Yes.
Board Member Shayla Hernandez?
Yes.
Chair Gandara?
Yes.
Thank you. Passes.
Okay. Resolution passes. Okay, next up is our public input. I'll start on my left. Is there anybody that has public input? Yes, sir. Please come to the podium and state your name.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. And I'll give you 2 minutes, sir. Thank you.
Oh, 2 minutes. Oh,
Yes.
thank you so much. Thank you. Well, actually, I have an issue that I just wanted to bring it up, but it has a very close relation to the pet, which is mine. And I'm going through a heavy process right now to get back my pet from those people that I gave it to them. There is a law in our state statute.
Could you please state your name for the record?
Oh, I apologize. Well, it's my first time. Please forgive me being in front of a city council. We have a New Mexico statute law 55-2-201. My request from this honorable city council is, please find a way or implement that in our city, that a person like me, within few hours, I had a change of heart. I wanted my pet back. And now I'm going through a huge process of lawsuit from magistrate court, now appealing to the district court, to just get things that I gave it away. But in few hours, I had a change of heart. But unfortunately, those people had a very cold heart and didn't want to do that. And let me tell you what indicates this law. It says, the gift remains legally invalid and improperly executed, which warrants the legal reversal of the same. If the gift is more than $500, if you had a change of heart, you want that gift back. Any human beings in this planet would have given it back to you because your blessing is not in that gift. I came here, I just saw your website last night, and I just thought maybe it would be opportunity for me to go voice it out to our city council, and maybe they can bring it, the same law to be in effect, because when I called the police, I want my cat back. They said it's a civil matter, you have to go to court, and I'm going to do through that process. My appeal hearing is July 25th. Now I'm 3 months away from my pet, or I should say my baby. It's that important. I hope you all have a pet in your home. It's so important. They become part of your life. I was moving out of Las Cruces. I was going to East Coast, living close to my family. And I thought maybe it would be a good idea someone else can take care of him here. But then I had a change of heart. I can't leave him behind. I got to take him with him.
Thank
with
you.
Me. And I would appreciate if you can consider, or you can tell me who should I talk to, that we can bring this matter to implement this law that exists in our statute.
Thank you for that. Just to clarify, we are the Animal Services Board, not City Council. We are made up of city and county officials. But thank you for that. And I don't know that we could help you if police or codes has indicated it's a civil matter, but we appreciate you being here and letting us know of your situation.
Because you are sitting at the City Council chamber, that's where I thought you are a City Council.
No, sir. We meet on Mondays.
Right. Well, sorry for my mistake.
No worries, no worries. Thank you, sir.
No, thank you.
But I would just say something.
Yes, Councillor Curran.
Sorry, if that's okay.
Of course, of course you can.
I just want to say I feel and understand your change of heart and the way that you're thinking about that. And even though we don't make the policies related to city or county animal control as a board, each of us do. So each jurisdiction has those, and the state of New Mexico has state laws, as you've alluded to, which preempt our city laws, generally speaking. So we can't necessarily change the state law ourselves. But I think that you bring up something that we all care about and actually would like to see changed in our state law. That is that animals are considered property and they're viewed in such a way that they are objects rather than beings. And I think that philosophically our state is behind the national sort of trend of how we view animals. And I think that is deeply problematic. You've pointed to one aspect of this or one dimension of this that makes animals property. And I think it's an evolution that we have to work with our state legislature to change. That doesn't help you at all, but I would say that you do point out that animals are not property, despite what our state laws suggest. They are beings, and treating them as property often creates a lot of repercussions and lack of accountability in many cases to their beingness, I would argue. So I think that's something that we all care about, and probably with our state legislature, we could potentially change this sometime in the future, but it's going to take a lot of conversations and work on our part. So thank you for bringing it up and reminding us of that.
Thank you.
So.
No, thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Board Member Curran. Anybody else on my left? Any on my right? Seeing none, we are on to the chair and board comments, and I'll start on my right. Board Member Shalja Hernandez.
I have no comments, but saying that as well, Clint, actually I do have a comment now that I say that. I would love to connect with you and go tour the new facility. I have yet to do that as a new board member, so I'll reach out and get that planned out so we can go up there. So maybe I know what I'm talking about a little bit more being a new board member here. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member. Board Member Curran.
You have to bring donuts when you go, just as a note for the
Got to
staff.
bring donuts.
Oh,
yeah, for sure.
Just as a friendly
Yes.
reminder. I don't have any comments except to say that we are in the city initiating a long process that will be looking at all of our animal ordinances, and we're sort of thinking about how that works and how that fits into all of these things. And so just as a note, it's part of our ongoing conversations and things that will be coming up. I would say it will take us a year or something like that to really get there. But just as a note, we're really thinking about how we can change things using our policies. So that's it.
Thank you, Board Member Curran. Board Member Weir, right? Yes.
Good morning. No specific comments, but thank you to Clint and the other staff who presented. The presentations were informative for me as a new member to the board, so thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Weir. Board Member Ward.
I have nothing. Thank you.
Board Member De Leon.
Thank you. I also wanted to thank the Animal Service Center for providing the excellent information at our council and work session meetings through Pet of the Week. And also wanted to just pass along thanks to your staff member for doing such a great job of providing us with the information. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member De Leon. I just want to say and bring up, get an update, Clint, from you specifically on our efforts to recruit a second veterinarian. I know we had made so many efforts, consistent efforts in the past, and if you could give us an update and maybe it be a standing agenda item for our executive team to talk about, because it is something that will prevent us from moving forward, especially in the new facility with the older facility and the vision that we have for both of those facilities, and just reducing the pet population, frankly.
Yes, thank you. So the position you're speaking of was actually allotted to the ASCMV as a new position, I believe it was 2 years ago. Efforts to fill the position via announcements, via the efforts with the city, posting it on several different animal industry boards. We went to agricultural schools, posted on their boards. We even paid, in my mind, a substantial amount. I believe it was over $500 to have it posted on an actual veterinarian board. We also did efforts in sending a postcard out regionally, talking about the benefits of living in Cruces and the benefits of the job and what we do. We had 2 applicants for the position. One of them was just starting veterinarian school, and the other one was had been retired for some time and preferred not to do surgery. So both of those were, of course, not eligible for the position. So and it's interesting we bring this up because about 2 weeks ago, I talked with our medical director, Dr. Haddon. She's taking a master's course right now with the University of Florida on shelter medicines. And one of those things they're talking about right now is recruitment and ways that you say things. And so she is meeting with an individual to come and talk and more friendly way of putting the job description together. So it reads better of a come work with us, more of what the ASCMV is about, instead of focusing just purely on what you're going to be doing. Because as you read that, it's a lot of work on that job description. Surgery all day long, and from what Dr. Haddon said, is no surgeon just wants to do surgery all day long, nothing but. So she's in the efforts of rewriting it, but I do like the idea of having it as a standing item on the executive committee, so we can continue to report that and updates as well.
Thank you so much, Clint. I've been thinking a lot about that, and I've gotten a few comments on people who instant message me and say, it's really preventing us from doing really what we'd like to do around the cat population, just so on and so forth. And so I thought I'd bring it up. I do want the public to know that we've even talked about incentives. We've even talked about the pipeline right to workforce, starting maybe considering paying for one's education or portions of that. I mean, we have tried a lot of different ways to entice folks to come to work for ASCMV, and now that we have these 2 beautiful facilities, frankly, and all the work that you've done to recruit and retain and just change the system there, I think it would benefit us greatly. So let's continue the dialogue and the discussions. If board members have anything that they'd like to share or add to that, this is one of the most important, I think, priorities coming into this next year, especially that we're opening a new facility. Maybe it means speaking to DACC and New Mexico State University in coordinating and collaborating and maybe identifying someone that has that interest and how we can, I don't know, but I think we're willing to look at that creatively.
Madam Vice Chair, that is one question I get a lot, is why does MSU not have a veterinarian program?
Yeah.
And I don't even know who to talk to or who to advise on that. So
I
that would be
have
amazing.
some connections, Clint, and I have a niece who started off at NMSU specific to the animal I don't know what the animal science. Thank you, Board Member Ward. She loved it, right? She loved it, but then she got a bug for political stuff, so she's like out doing her, political career, frankly. So, but I think there's something there that we really should tap into in terms of either folks who are animal science majors or really enticing the university to look into a program. I don't know, it's worth a shot. I don't know. I know Councilor Karan is like, I don't know about that. But it's really preventing us from advancing like we want to. So anyway, enough of that. Thank you. Can I get is there any other comments? Okay, very good. Thank you. Why don't we get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion made by Board Member Joe Hernandez. That's a mouthful. Can I get a second?
Seconded by Corin.
Second by Corin. And Becky, please call the roll.
Board Member Weir?
Yes.
Board Member Coran?
Yes.
Board Member Shayla Hernandez?
Yes.
Chair Gantara?
Yes. We are done. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day, great rest of your month, and see you next month.